All right, so have you seen my new video on Bo of the Fifth Column and his wonderful 14 characteristics of fascism?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Well, look, it's very entertaining because there's just this great list of characteristics of fascism from someone who should actually be controversial in having doctor as a title because they don't actually have a PhD in anything. Um, and that's supposed political science Lawrence Britt. But either way, uh, he's come up with this list of reasons that fascism, exists, or like characteristics of it. And
You're talking about this Bo guy you covered in the other video?
yeah, I just cover him all the time now. He's my new friend.
He supposedly has a PhD in political science. Is that what you said?
No, the guy who made the list does.
Oh, he's covering the list. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the actual list is made by some guy who everyone calls political science Dr. Lawrence Britt. But he's actually just some random guy who has an axe to grind to George W. Bush, and so he made this list to conveniently declare George Bush a fascist. And but the left still uses it.
I thought this was kind of a new thing with calling everyone on the right fascist, since Trump was elected, but I guess not.
Oh no, this is a very old trend. This list is from 2003. Here, look, just we'll see how easy it is to just make anything fascist. Yeah, so number one is powerful and continuing nationalism. Fascist regimes tend to make constant use of mottos, slogans, symbols, songs, and other paraphernalia. Flags are seen everywhere and in public displays. I mean, that definitely fits the Democrats. I mean, there were plenty of American flags at the Democratic Convention. And then you have Antifa running around waving flags everywhere.
Yeah, their flags actually have two more flags on them, so that's like triple fascism. And then the sloganeering.
Yeah, the Democrats love their slogans and their songs. I mean, did you see the Democratic Convention? I thought it was a concert.
Yeah, plus, they have these great slogans like pigs in a blanket frying like bacon.
Yeah.
No borders, no walls, no USA at all. All right, so that's one for the left. Left fascist +1.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so
disdain for the recognition of human rights. So because of fear of enemies and the need for security, the people in fascist regimes are persuaded that human rights can be ignored in certain cases because of need. The people tend to look the other way and ignore summary executions and assassinations.
So like COVID is like a fear thing, and people need to look the other way about their rights, give up your rights or you're selfish, cover your faces, lock down your businesses, for sure.
Absolutely. And then you have gun control because of school shootings and the fear that those bring about.
Right.
Hate speech laws, which, again, they protect from this perceived threat. Again, I'd say that's a good one.
Yeah, that's number 2 for leftist fascism.
Yeah. So number 3, identification of enemies/scapegoats as a unifying cause. The people are rallied into a unifying frenzy over the need to eliminate a perceived common threat or foe. Racial, ethnic, or religious minorities.
White men.
Yeah, white men, the rich, Christians, all very much enemies of the left today.
I mean, what's a bigger minority than the 1%?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we're 3 for 3 so far.
All right, what's number 4?
Supremacy of the military. So even when there are widespread domestic problems, the military is given a disproportionate amount of government funding, and the domestic agenda is neglected. Soldiers in military service are glamorized. We could give that one to them, but they're definitely not the more pro-military side.
No, they're not. But they do start a lot of wars, and they were pretty mad about Trump pulling troops out of the Middle East. Actually, they've been bitching about it for a very long time, but. No, I think we'll still give him a pass on this one because I think we're still going to end up with a super majority in favor of the left being actual fascists without giving them that one.
Yeah, that's fair. So
what's number 5?
Rampant sexism. The government of fascist nations tend to be almost exclusively male-dominated. And I mean, sexism is pretty prominent throughout our society. I mean, men are the problem.
Yeah, but they still dominate most of the offices for Democrat Party is still mostly men. But then, they still are very sexist against men with the wage gap myth and men are the problem and toxic masculinity and garbage like that.
Yeah. So again, that's everywhere. I mean, this one is honestly just kind of a meme, but controlled mass media. I mean, uh, CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, NBC.
Yeah, NPR, even
Uh,
like across the pond to BBC,
yeah,
which, NPR is like government sponsored news or whatever, publicly funded news, but it's still very slanted to the left. Like, they definitely
oh,
control a
absolutely.
majority of the media. I mean, I remember when conservatism was relegated to the confines of AM radio.
God, I'm glad I wasn't really alive for that. AM radio was dying about the time I was learning to walk.
Well, I'm old, so
Yeah.
yeah. So we're gonna give him that one. How many is that now?
Oh man, that's 5 out of 6.
5 out of 6. We're already on 6. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. The Biden presidency is going to be awful fascistic. I still feel like we should give him the military. I mean, he did just appoint a Raytheon executive to be his Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, we could, but I still think that we should try and be as fair as possible against the fascist left.
Yeah.
So what's the next one?
Okay, obsession with national security. Fear is used as a motivational tool by the government over the masses. And I mean, this is already...
Isn't that like the same thing we just talked about?
Yeah,
gun control, COVID.
Yeah, exactly. So there's not really much to say here. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be a free point for their argument, but it's also a free point for us, so whatever.
Right.
Religion and government are intertwined, so governments in fascist nations tend to use the most common religion in the nation as a tool to manipulate public opinion. And all I have to say is you have to practice Christianity the way that I think it works, based on a couple of Bible verses taken out of context, and not the way that it's actually meant to be interpreted.
Well, my belief is that statism itself is a religion. It's the worship of the state, and they definitely rely on that a whole lot as well.
Right.
But yeah, they do like to use the argument against Christians that, like, it's unchristian of you not to do as I say, even though they don't believe in Christianity. But I don't know. I think we should give them that too.
Yeah, you think we should discount that one?
No. I think that they're definitely guilty of that one.
Oh, okay.
Because they are always trying to argue like Christianity supports their cause or whatever, that like Jesus was a socialist. I've seen that a bazillion times.
Oh, yeah.
So definitely give them that.
Yeah, Jesus was a socialist. Jesus was gay. And I mean, it even mentions in here how, the major tenets of the religion are diametrically opposed to the policies. And I mean, Jesus was gay. There you go. Corporate power is protected. The industrial and business aristocracy of a fascist nation often are the ones who put the government leaders into power, creating a mutually beneficial business/government relationship and power elite.
Okay, so like an example of that I would say is like Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood donates all this money to Democrats. Then Democrats get in office and they give even more money back to them out of the taxpayers' pocket. And then they just turn around and stick some more of that money back into the pocket of Democrats, and the circle continues.
Right, yeah. And you also have their alliances with the universities, where the universities donate overwhelmingly to Democratic causes, and then they get tons of public funding.
Yeah, and then you can borrow as much money as you want. You can borrow as much money as you want to go to college,
right?
And it's federally backed. So the federal government actually secures their loan for them.
Yeah, and corporate media too. They have a very strong relationship with the media.
Yeah, so the media donates like almost completely to Democrats.
Yeah,
as well as covers them favorably, like we talked about in the other one.
Yeah, it's favorable coverage in exchange for the Democrats continuing to do what the media likes, and the media continues to do what the Democrats like in exchange for, I don't even know where they both benefit in this. I feel like they might just like each other, but either way, that's a massive corporate interest that works directly with a major political party.
For sure. So definitely, they're very fascist according to this checklist on that one as well.
Yeah.
So what's the next one?
Yeah, I mean we're at 8 out of 9 so far.
Oh my gosh.
The next one, I don't think this one fits. Labor power is suppressed. And I mean, we could make an argument based on, like, you know, the minimum wage and stuff, but I think overall, this is more about unions, and the Democrats are openly the pro-union party, so.
Yeah, but you know, that's true, but we could have also used unions in the last one as another thing that is an industry.
Yeah.
You know, big labor, you know, or we could have used big pharma in the last one as well, too. But yeah, I guess you're right. We can let them slide on this one, but those things also apply to the previous one.
Disdain for intellectuals in the arts. So fascist nations tend to promote and tolerate open hostility to higher education and academia. It is not uncommon for professors and other academics to be censored or even arrested. Free expression in the arts is openly attacked, and governments often refuse to fund the arts. So, like, we could really give them a half for that one, because they definitely like to censor free expression. But they're also very big on funding for the arts, as long as the arts don't say anything too controversial. And censorship of professors is pretty common.
Oh, well, that happens all the time.
But I wouldn't call it an overall disdain for the arts or intellectuals.
Oh, yeah, it's an overall disdain for intellectuals that don't agree with me.
Yeah, but not like the concept of it entirely.
So what do you think? Point or no?
I'll say no, just like based on the description, yes, but based on the actual point, no.
Okay. All right. So what's the next one?
Obsession with crime and punishment. Under fascist regimes, the police are given almost limitless power to enforce laws. The people are often willing to overlook police abuses and even forgo civil liberties.
You know, I mean, that one's kind of tricky because the Democrats do have all these authoritarian rules and they want someone to enforce those rules. So while they cry about police brutality all the time, they still want the cops to arrest you for not wearing a mask or ticket you, and if you resist anyway, then to, you know, do what police do when you resist. Just like, you know, Eric Garner's an example I like to use a lot of them crying about police brutality, but then not realizing it's their policies that initiated the police brutality. He was skirting a cigarette tax law that was completely supported by Democrats, and probably still is. And that's what initiated the entire conflict.
Yeah, that's an example I like to use for that one a lot. But, I mean, you also have, you know, Antifa and BLM riot with impunity, and they kind of act, you know, they talk about a national police force with unlimited power, and Antifa/BLM, I mean, they can burn entire cities down, and, you know, maybe 2 people get arrested for that. I mean, I would say that's rioting with impunity.
Right, exactly.
They've beaten people in the streets. They've killed people for, you know, just disagreeing with them. That's a solid one for them.
Yeah.
And that's to leave out Kamala the cop and Joe Biden the crime bill guy.
Oh, Crime Bill Joe.
Yeah, that's a solid one.
Yeah, for sure.
Rampant cronyism and corruption. And I mean, really?
Isn't that, we were just talking about that. Cronyism is the same thing where businesses give money to Democrats and then Democrats give taxpayer money back to them as well.
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, cronyism, I mean, both sides are guilty of it to a certain extent, but the Democrats are guilty of it, so.
I mean, not just both sides, but like all governments ever.
Yeah, and like every president for like the last 100 years.
Well, I mean, if we're just gonna go with cronyism, I mean every president ever.
Yeah.
Has been guilty of it in one form or another.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone, we all know that politics is, you know, at least 90% backdoor deals, and then them just coming up with a way to spin it so that we'll agree with it. I mean, this is...
It's still a point for them.
I don't even know if I want to apply this to them, because it applies to everyone, but this is their standard, so, you know what? Fuck it. And we're on the last one, and I think you're going to like this one, Wop. Want to take a guess at what this one is?
No, I don't even know. I've never heard of this list before.
Okay. Fraudulent elections.
Oh my God. What? Fraudulent elections, huh?
Yeah, that is... I don't even need to say anything, really.
Just LOL.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the last one. So how many points was there total?
So we're at 11 out of 14. I mean, I can guarantee you that's a supermajority. Let's just calculate our supermajority percentage. So the left is 78.5% fascist.
Wow, that's a lot of fascism.
Yeah, I mean,
Man, they're gonna have to start Molotoving their own houses.
yeah, I know. And punching themselves and each other in the face. I mean, this is going to be awkward for them.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have demanded this.
Wait till they find out how fascist they are. They're gonna be so mad at themselves. No, I don't know. Probably not.
Look, and let's remember that we can still add in the military. And that puts us at 12 out of 14, which makes them 85.7% fascist.
They do drone bomb a lot of brown children in the Middle East, don't they?
I mean, the left are just a bunch of super Nazis.
And probably the most anti-war president, I don't know, since Coolidge probably, was just voted out by the left.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, again, Biden appointed a Raytheon executive as Secretary of Defense. So, I mean, what do we have?
That's their measuring stick for what is fascism, right?
Yeah.
That's their own measuring stick. Well, it's bad news for them.
It's going to be interesting to see, the anti-war left is going to go into retirement for the next 4 years. And, maybe we'll hear from them again sometime in, 2024.
Well, if they didn't just make shit up to try and make other people to be fascists without even looking at their own policies and their own politicians.
Yeah, this is their test. Well, I mean, look, if they would have invented a better measuring stick, maybe they wouldn't also be fascists.
Right. They're very broad, very, very vague points.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that sums it up. Democrats are fascists then.
Yeah, absolutely. So hail Biden.